Good morning. I'm Marjorie McRae. My father's ancestors were wealthy men in colonial Virginia. Wealthy people intermarry, and so I have multiple ancestors that owned plantations and worked them by enslaving Africans and people of African descent. I'm briefly telling two of those land stories today. King George II gave 2,500 acres of land on the James River, an hour west of Richmond, to my fifth great-grandfather. That is my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather. Land that was the ancestral home of the Monacans, one of the Algonquin tribes of Virginia, and part of the Powhatan Confederacy. It took my ancestors 50 years to clear the forest, begin farming tobacco, build a flour mill, build a mansion, and so on. More accurately, it took my ancestors' enslaved workforce 50 years. While her husbands and sons were fighting in the Civil War, my third great-grandmother suppressed a slave rebellion, a story subsequent generations of women in my family told with pride in her unexpected show of strength. One of her sons died at Gettysburg, one is my ancestor, and another went on to a not very successful career in Virginia politics as an outspoken white supremacist. That wasn't the problem. He was a bit of a kook. The land is 30 miles from Sailor's Creek, where a decisive Civil War battle was fought near Appomattox, the place where General Robert E. Lee surrendered 3 days after the Sailor's Creek battle. Shortly after the war, Lee accepted an invitation from my third great-grandmother to spend a quiet month at Oakland, the plantation's name. Today, my siblings and I own the remnant of Oakland, what's left of the original plantation mansion and surrounding 200 acres. My third great-grandmother was the granddaughter of another wealthy family whose plantation, Smithfield, was established on the Roanoke River by another of my fifth great-grandparents. This land was ancestral land of the Mortuck, another of the Virginian Algonquin tribes. Virginia Tech, located in Blacksburg, Virginia, sits on the portion of this plantation inherited by one of my fifth great-grandparents' grandsons. If you're tracking, that's a first cousin of my third great-grandmother, the one who suppressed the slave rebellion. Her first cousin, Robert Preston, enslaved people with the family name of Fraction, whose descendants include a woman I'm now working with, along with others among my cousins and her cousins, to forge a path toward repair and reconciliation. Robert Preston forced the Fractions from his land after the war, shooting one, not fatally, and at least twice imprisoning two of them. The U.S. Army, for whom the two brothers were soldiers, got the brothers out of jail the first time. The Freedmen's Bureau got them out the second time. Under the Black Code laws, Preston had the legal right of first refusal to the labor of his formerly enslaved workers, a law the Fractions refused to bend to. After numerous attempts by the Fraction brothers to stay on the land their family had worked for generations, arguably their land, and equally numerous attempts by Robert Preston to kill, imprison them, or again force their labor, the Freedmen's Bureau said it could no longer protect the brothers and advised the Fraction family to leave the area. Reluctantly, they settled in another county. Smithfield is now a museum, and two Fraction descendants sit on its board. To my understanding, my father's ancestors were Episcopalians. Thank you.